For the last 78 years, we've watched some of the greatest moments in NBA history.
Chamberlain makes it 101-99. They set up their strategy. Watch the rebound. This is the thing that brought the outside.
5, the Busher shoots. Hit with 3 seconds to go. 2 seconds, 1 second. West throws it up. He makes it. West throws it up and makes it.
5 seconds to go. Matches with a hook shot. 4-2. Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Here comes Chicago. 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7. World Championship number 6. Jordan. Open. Chicago with the lead. Bryant with the save. The right shot. Final seconds. Bryant for the win. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining. There he drives. Hot inside. No shot. Listen. Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Jokic just gets it off in time. It's up. Oh, it's good. Of course it goes in. Jokic from downtown. Anthony Davis just stares at him. Murray makes the move. The Nuggets have won.
But what if we went back and did it all over again?
Today is the year 1946. Welcome back, guys, to my favorite series here on the channel, and probably your guys' favorite series here on the channel, as we are now on to NBA 2K25. We started doing this series back in NBA 2K20. It's just crazy how many times we've done this. Now, we haven't done it every single year, but we've done it almost every single year. And it's another year, and it's another game, and it's going to be even better this year. Why? One, we're doing it a lot earlier, which is awesome. Number two, we're starting in 1946. If you guys didn't know, the NBA technically began in 1946. Now, the reason why I've never done this in the past is because in 1946, only 3 of our out of the 30 current teams in the NBA, only 3 teams existed in 1946. All right, so we're gonna go through them, but that's why I've never started in 1946. And plus, also, you really only could start at 12 teams, and it was just back then between 1946 and 1949. Basically, the teams and the league just changed so much. It just didn't really make sense. And obviously 1949 was the first year where I believe it was called the NBA. I think I might be wrong on that. I might be wrong on the year. But in 1946, there was the BAA, the basketball. I'm blanking on actually what it means. But BAA and the NBL, I think, was the other one. And then they combined later on to create the NBA. So that's why I've never done 1946. However, now, NBA 2K25 has added a feature where you can add teams and add up to, I believe, 6 teams every year, which is amazing. So you can go from 12 teams to, 30 plus, which is super, super cool. But you can also take teams away, and that's the big one. Because when you take a team away, now the players on that team go into free agency, which is how it worked. Well, which is kind of how it worked back then, and it's how it's going to work in this series, which I'm super, super, super excited about that. So before I show off all of the teams, if you guys can do me a favor, this is episode 1. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers. We're at about 7,333, something like that, as I'm recording this. So if you guys can do those 2 things, and also comment down below if you've seen the series before, what maybe changes or additions do you guys want to see to this series? And also let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about, adding the teams and contracting the league and being able to do all that? I think that's a really cool feature that NBA 2K added. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Like I said, there was only 3 teams back in 1946 that exist now. Now, there are some cities that you'll recognize, but they end up folding later on, and a lot of them this year, which is pretty crazy. So, the Chicago Stags, which actually stayed in the league for quite a while. I'm looking at it right now. I think they fold in the 49, or no, in 1950. They're no longer in the NBA. But we got the Chicago Stags. Remember, when a team does fold, all those players will go into free agency. So we got the Chicago Stags. We got the Providence Steamrollers. There's an expansion team because there's only 11 teams right now, and you can only go down to 12 teams. So there is one expansion team. We've got the Philadelphia Warriors, which obviously end up becoming the Golden State Warriors. And then we have the St. Louis Bombers, which end up folding here in a few years. And then we got the Washington Capitals. The Capitals actually stay around till like 1950. We got obviously the Boston Celtics. We've got the Detroit Falcons. Not sure why there's a space there, but we do have the Detroit Falcons. They end up actually folding after this season, so it'll be their only season. The Toronto Huskies, which fold after this season as well. The Pittsburgh Ironmen. I think this name is awesome. And in Pittsburgh, like, can we bring this back? I think this is super cool. But they fold after this year as well. And then the New York Knicks is the third team of the 3 that go on to obviously still be in the league 77 years later. Or whatever it is. We got the Cleveland Rebels. They also fold after this season. And then back to, obviously, the Chicago Stags. Now, if you guys notice, in the all players here, we've got George Mikan, we've got Arnie Risen, we've got Bob Davies. We've got a few guys who are actually free agents. Now, these guys, they were already playing basketball in different leagues. And they ended up joining the NBA later. So they are on here. They're not in a draft, right? Where that's obviously how we're going to bring players in. George Mikan wasn't drafted, obviously, in 47 or after. So he's just in free agency. So we'll see where George Mikan goes. I'm going to be really curious to see if he does get signed midway through the year, early on in the year, or if he's a free agent till free agency hits. We'll see what happens. I haven't tested that, so I have no idea what will happen. So yeah, we've got a few players in free agency that aren't on a team, and that could change everything, obviously, because he won't be on the Minneapolis Lakers, which, by the way, the Minneapolis Lakers come in 1948. So I don't know. We'll see where. Now, he could go to like the Toronto Huskies and then they fold. So we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, I can almost guarantee you he will not be on the Lakers. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited to see where George Mikan ends up going. The first season of the Basketball Association of America, the BAA, Joe Fulks wins MVP. Now, obviously, these awards did not exist back then. I realize that. We are still going to keep track of all of the awards. MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, DPOY, scoring title, obviously the finals, winners, losers, and I have a spreadsheet, actually. So if you guys go down in the description, those of you guys who are new to the channel, if you guys go down to the description of the video, you guys can click on a Google Sheets link, and you will see the whole history of our series as we go on. So it's a lot of fun. So if you guys are interested, go check that out. But Joe Fulks does win MVP of this 11-team league. 25.6 points per game, 12.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Now, the scoring is a little bit up in this season because when I made the league, I forgot to turn the shot clock off. Back then, obviously, the shot clock did not exist. I believe it comes in 54. But I did mess with this. So I looked at basically the points per game that teams averaged back then, and it was right around in the 70s, maybe low 80s on certain teams, up until the shot clock was introduced, and then it went up to, you know, mid 90s, low 100s. So that's how we're gonna do it in this. So I will mess with the shot clock. However, I won't turn it off, because if I turn it off, they're only gonna average like 40 points per game. I've tested that. I think if I just move it down to 30-second shot clock, it should get into our range. But it's gonna be kind of testing as we go. But like I said, it was 24 seconds in this season just because I forgot to change some of the rules and I didn't want to remake everything. So I'll show you guys when I change the rules. Joe Folks also wins Rookie of the Year. I'm not sure if he was technically a rookie, but in this he's a rookie, so we're going to give it to him. George Nestrand, he wins Sixth Man of the Year with the Toronto Huskies. And then Chick Halbert wins a Defensive Player of the Year, 12 points, 15 rebounds, 2.5 blocks with the Chicago Stags. Max Zaslofsky wins Clutch Player of the Year. Again, it doesn't matter. Hey, look, Popovich. I didn't know he was that old. No, actually, hopefully Pop is doing really well. I know he had a stroke, I think, so hopefully he's doing well and he gets back to coaching very, very soon. But they won 70 games. Also, I didn't make the games to 60. Back then, there was only 60 games. We're not doing that because we can't change it in the rules during the offseason. So we're just going to keep it at 82. But they won 70 games. The Washington Capitals won 70 games. They are led by Fred Scolari, who averaged 17 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. John Logan on the... What team is this? The St. Louis Bombers? Yeah. He averaged 17 at 6 and 6. Joe Folks, obviously, who won MVP. Stan Myzik on the Detroit Falcons, 20 and 13. If I say a name wrong, I apologize. I don't know how to read. And then Chick Halbert on the All-NBA first team. All-NBA second team, we got Bellis Swally, Bob Furyk, Bud Palmer, Howie Domar, I don't know, and then Connie Simmons. I know him. He's usually on the series. He's over at the Celtics, 15 and 11 per game for him. All-NBA third team, we got Ernie Calverley. We've got Frankie. Man, dude, my brain's going to be fried. Bones McKinney, Leo Mogis, and Ed Sadowski. Most of these guys are, I'm pretty sure all of these guys are real. There might be a player that sneaks in that isn't, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten it all the way. I've gotten all of the random players down to 40 overall. So these are all real players. I'm pretty sure. If there isn't one, I apologize. But I tried to do my best. We've got John Logan, Wendell Gray, Bones McKinney, Stan Myzik, and Chick Halbert on the all-defensive first team. Fred Scolari, Mel Rebbe, I don't know, Joel Folks, Bud Palmer, and Art Hillhouse on the all-defensive second team. And obviously, with just 12 teams in the league, there are only 8 playoff teams. Joe Folks led the league in scoring, averaging 25.6 points per game. Obviously, these numbers will drop, obviously, with the shot clock change in the offseason. 15.7 rebounds per game led the league. That was Chick Halbert. And Fred Scolari led the league in assists with 6.4. John Logan led the league with steals with 1.8. And Connie Simmons led the league in blocks with 2.5. And Chick Halbert also averaged 2.5 blocks per game. As we enter the playoffs here, the Philadelphia Warriors do have the 1 seed. They are in the East, by the way. And I'm going to try my best to keep the teams on the right, in the right conferences. But I can only do league realignment so often. You know, it's only whenever the league contracts or it expands. So there might be certain years where it's slightly off to how it was in real life, but I have a way to get it basically exactly how it was, which is really cool. But we got the Philadelphia Warriors. They won 58 games. They are the 1 seed in the East. The New York Knicks are the 2 seed. Providence Steamrollers are the 3 seed, and the Toronto Huskies are the 4 seed. Boston only won 19 games. Wow. Okay. And in the West, we got the Washington Capitals, who won 70 games. The Chicago Stags, who won 62. Cleveland won 47. And the Pittsburgh Ironmen 146. They actually won the tiebreaker over the St. Louis Bombers. So the Bombers or Detroit do not make the playoffs. So we're going to do something a little bit different as well this year. Down below, right next to the subscribe button, there's a button called join. So if you guys didn't know, YouTube has a thing where you can become a member on certain channels. So I am actually adding that this year. And what that's going to give you is it's going to give you the badges next to your name when you comment or when you are in the chat of a live stream. If I live stream, anything like that, you'll have like a badge next to your name. And there's like custom emojis that you guys can use in the comment section and stuff like that. So most YouTubers have this where you join and you have, you know, the badges and the emojis. But not only that, if you guys become a member, you will actually get these videos a day early. So if you guys become a member right now, as you're watching episode 1, you guys will actually get episode 2 tomorrow instead of Monday. And this, obviously, this series will be out every other day, so you guys get early access to the video. But not only that, I wanted to, if I ever made this, I always thought, like, if I ever did a membership on the channel, I would want to give more than just, oh, you get the video a day early and you get badges and whatever. So this year, as you guys know, usually once we get to the NBA Finals in close games, I'll jump into those close games. We've never done it for any other round. However, this time around, I will actually be doing it for the conference finals, but it is only for the members. So the reason why I've never done this in the past is because it makes the videos a lot longer, and I wanted to keep the videos around 40 minutes if possible, to an hour. Like, I never really wanted to go, and if I did that previously, it would be way longer, right? So if you guys become a member, you guys will get basically a different version of the videos, and it will be, you know, close games. We'll be jumping in to the conference finals, and this gives us a chance to watch certain players that may, you know, we've never been able to really watch before. Like, there are certain players that never get to the finals, right? They get to the conference finals, but they can never really break through. A lot of those players in the past have been Wilt, have been Kareem, have been sometimes in some years Michael Jordan. Like, there are times where we just don't get to see certain players in the games, and so this should help with us being able to get to see some of those players in the conference finals. So I thought it'd be cool. I was like, you know what, if I am gonna do this, I want to add something cool to this series and to the membership that, you know, it isn't just, oh, you get to watch it a day early than everyone else and you get badges next to your name. Like, I wanted to do something a little bit different, so that's what we're doing. So if you guys do want to support me and the channel, I would really appreciate it. You guys don't have to. If you guys don't, nothing changes, right? This series is still the same if you guys don't. So you guys don't have to become a member. It's just a little bit extra for this series, which is a ton of fun. So if you guys want, go ahead and become a member. It's going to be $10 a month. And if you guys have any other like things that you think would be cool to add for the members, let me know in the comments below. Like, is there something that I could add that, you know, maybe you say, okay, well, I don't want to join, but if you added this, I would join. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So just wanted to go over that real quick. There is a join button, and you guys will get to see the close games in the conference finals. So let's go through the first round here as the Cleveland Rebels lose. Oh, by the way, every series is 7 games. That is also something that I just left at 7. I don't really want to mess with it because you can't, I don't know why they took this away, but you can't change it after you start your my NBA. Unless they've changed it or you guys have figured out how to do it, let me know. But every series is going to be 7 games just to keep it simple. Until obviously we get to the eras part, right? Once we get to the eras, that will change. The Providence Steamrollers are eliminated. The Pittsburgh Ironmen are eliminated. And the Philadelphia Warriors, the 1 seed in the East, gets eliminated. The MVP of the league gets eliminated. Wow. Okay, so we've got Washington, the Washington Capitals, versus the Chicago Stags in the West. And we've got the New York Knicks versus the Toronto Huskies in the East. And it will be the Washington Capitals versus the Toronto Huskies in the very first BAA Finals, which is hilarious because neither of these two teams exist in real life. The Capitals end up folding in the 1951 offseason, and the Huskies end up folding, believe it or not, literally after this season, which is kind of hilarious. So we'll see what happens, but they could win a title and then just fold. Let's get to game one of the 1946 BAA Finals, or 1947 technically, as we were in the 46-47 season. But here we go. Game number one between the Huskies and the Capitals. And at the half, the Huskies with an 8-point lead, but here come the Capitals. And the Capitals have now cut it to 3 with 56 seconds to go. Let's jump in. Sadowski to the free throw line as he hits the first. And he cuts the lead to 2. And the second free throw is up and good. And it's now just a 1-point lead here for Washington. 55 seconds to go. By the way, no shot clock. So the shot clock is actually turned off. I guess I did turn that setting on. However, as that's going to be missed, and Sadowski with the rebound. Toronto down by 1. However, the scoring is still really high, so it's a little bit broken. We're going to have to add a shot clock, just make it a longer shot clock to get the points where it needs to be. Sadowski in the post now. He gets doubled. Sadowski still takes it, and it is no good. Mankin with the rebound. And Washington will head to the free throw line. Up by 1. And Mankin, first free throw is no good. Toronto's still in this thing. The second one is up and good. It's a 2-point lead for the Washington Capitals as the Toronto Huskies take a timeout. 26 seconds to go. Ball is into McCarron. Let's see if he holds on to this for the last shot, or if he goes a little bit quicker. 18 seconds to go in the post to Sadowski. Sadowski will take a shot, and it is no good. He bricked the hook shot again. Telling the crowd, or telling his teammates, my bad. There's some drama going on. Not sure what's going on. 2 massive misses for Sadowski. But that free throw is no good. So Toronto still in this thing. And the second is good. It's a 3-point lead for the Capitals. 13 seconds to go. Got to go quick here. You're down by 3 with no 3-point shot. McCarron over to whoever that is. Hefner, I don't know. That's no good. And that will do it. Scolari will head to the free throw line with just 4 seconds to go. And Washington will win game 1 of the BAA Finals. Furyk with 28-5-4. Scolari with 16-5-7 in game number 1. For the Huskies, Sadowski, he was really good, 26-12, but 2 just bad misses to lose this one. That's a tough spot. I mean, Washington was missing free throws. He had a chance, and unfortunately could not come through for his team as the Capitals take a 1-0 series lead. On to game number 2, once again in Washington, as they lead it by 2 after 1 at the half. They're down by 1, and now into the fourth quarter, lead it by 5. Down to 2 minutes ago, they lead it by 3, and down to a minute, the Huskies have taken the lead, 83-82. Let's jump into game 2. A minute and 8 to go. Scolari with it. Over to McKinney and inside to Furyk. And Furyk puts it up and in. Washington has taken a 1-point lead. This whole series has just been back and forth. A minute to go. Is that Hoofer? I believe that's Hoofer. Down by 1 here. Inside to Sadowski. Sadowski puts it up. No good! Gets his own rebound finally! Sadowski scores here in the final minutes of a finals game. 47 seconds to go. Washington down by 1. Washington drives left, and it's good. big shot. Washington now with the 1-point lead. 36 seconds to go. They're probably going to want it to get it to Sadowski. Sadowski in the post. Hook shot. No good. McGrady with the rebound. Over to Furyk. Furyk, who hit the layup to give him a 1-point lead, has it now. 15 seconds to go. We're not going to foul? What's happening here? Furyk puts up the floater. That's good. It's a 3-point lead for Washington. What in the world just happened? 5 seconds to go. Sadowski, long two. No good. And Washington will take a 2-0 series lead. The final two free throws here. Scolari will hit the first. And he hits the second. It's a 5-point lead. And Washington officially takes a 2-0 series lead against the Toronto Huskies, trying to become the first ever BAA Finals champions. Furyk with 30 in this game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Scolari with 16, 4, and 3. Sadowski with another really good game, but just not efficient. 25 and 15, but 10 of 25 from the field. And Washington takes that 2-0 series lead as we head back to Toronto. Now remember, Toronto was the last seed in the playoff side of, or the Eastern Conference playoff side, right? So it's not really a surprise with the 70-win team in Washington up 2-0 here against Toronto, but still, it's been 2 close games. As now in Toronto, Washington is just destroying them. I mean, Toronto has come back a little bit, but I don't think it will matter here, and it won't. 79-73 win for the Capitals. Norlander with 16 and 9, McCarron with 14, Sadowski with 12 and 4. Strand had 15 rebounds, and the Capitals have taken a 3-0 series lead. Now on to Game 4. Can they get the sweep? They're up early here, and into the fourth quarter, they're up by 24, and that will do it. We'll jump in here and watch the Washington Capitals win the very first BAA title. And that will do it. The Washington Capitals are the first ever BAA champions. 70 wins in the regular season for the Washington Capitals. And they complete the sweep over the Toronto Huskies. What a run, though, for Toronto. Beating the number 1 seed, beating the number 2 seed. But the Washington Capitals are the champions, the first ever champions, which is hilarious because they're going to fold here in a few years. But the Capitals will forever be the first ever champions. And I'm guessing it's going to be Scolari as your finals MVP. 27, 5, and 8 in the closeout game. As we'll see what he averaged here in the finals. As Fred Scolari is the finals MVP. The first BAA Finals MVP, averaging 17.7 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game. On to the league meeting. So we are doing a couple things here. Obviously, the number 1 pick is picked by a coin flip between the worst team and the second worst team. We're changing the shot clock. So the shot clock was off. However, the scoring was still high, and I even lowered in the settings, like the shots per possession and blah, 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 all that. It doesn't do anything. I know you guys told me it does. It doesn't. So I'm changing the shot clock. We're adding the shot clock. Technically, it's going to be 35 seconds, and the points should be around 60 to 70, or anywhere between 60 and 80 points per game for each team, which is what it's supposed to be. And they actually did add this. I didn't know they added this. But we can change the first and second round series, which is awesome. So obviously there's only, the first 2 rounds. So we can change that. And I forgot to get rid of the cup. So we're getting rid of that. But yeah, we can actually see and change the playoff format, which finally. And then obviously the third round Actually, it's saying that there's 4 rounds. I wonder what it's considering. You know what? Let's you know what? I'm technically deciding the number 1 pick with my own coin flip because there's not enough teams to actually do that. So instead of doing that, let's go ahead and change the playoff part, and we'll do the 3rd round as well, and we'll change that to a best of 3 because obviously, so back then, I'm looking at it right now, back then obviously there was no 1st round. The 2nd round was 3 games, and the conference finals was only 3 games until 55 when it goes to 5 games and then in 58 it goes to 7 games for the conference finals. So we'll change that as we go. But yeah, so last year they didn't have this, but they have it this year, which is awesome. So we'll go ahead and improve that. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round is a best of 3. Hopefully that doesn't change the finals because technically there's only 3 rounds. However, it also says that there's a final round. So yeah, I'm just going to assume that the final round is the finals. So the 3rd round isn't the finals. 4 teams have folded here in the 1947 offseason. The Toronto Huskies, who lost in the BAA Finals, the Cleveland Rebels, the Detroit Falcons, and the Pittsburgh Ironmen. And we've added a new team. And the new team is the Baltimore Bullets. So, yeah, the Baltimore Bullets. And this is not the Baltimore Bullets that you're thinking of, though. This Baltimore Bullets team actually folds in 1954, believe it or not. And then later on, the Bullets come back, and that's why the logo is different and everything. So kind of interesting that that's how it works, but it's an 8-league team now, 4 in each conference. In the East, we've got Boston, New York, Philly, and Providence. And then in the West, we've got the Baltimore Bullets, the Chicago Stags, the St. Louis Bombers, and the Washington Capitals. We are now on to the 1947 NBA draft, and the draft order looks like this. It's the Boston Celtics, the Providence Steamrollers, the New York Knicks, and the St. Louis Bombers. That is the order. The Celtics did win the toss, and let's go ahead and see who the number 1 overall pick is. It is Carl Braun, 6'5" out of Colgate. He goes number 1 overall. I don't know if the college is actually right or not, but Carl Braun goes to the Boston Celtics. The Providence Steamrollers with the 2nd overall pick drafts Jim Pollard. And then with the 3rd overall pick, the New York Knicks select Andy Phillip, 6'2" out of Illinois. And the St. Louis Bombers with the 4th overall pick select Red Roca. So Red Roca heads to the Baltimore Bullets. And that's it. Those are the only 4 players in this 1946 NBA draft. As you can see, Carl Braun, Jim Pollard, Andy Phillip, and Red Roca, all right around 80 overall. So they're all going to be pretty good. So we'll see if things change for the Celtics, the Steamrollers, the Knicks, and the Bombers. On to free agency. Now, I'm only 5 days in, but I wanted to see where some of the bigger names went. As you guys know, George Mikan was in free agency, never got picked up. So he is now entering the BAA, and he has signed with, wow, the champs. Are you kidding me? George Mikan and Arnie Risen both go, and Sadowski goes to the Capitals. Are you kidding me? Sadowski was obviously lost to the Capitals in the finals. Wow. Bob Davies heads to the Warriors. Al Servi to Boston. Stan Mizek to the Bombers. Wow. Obviously, any player that goes to an expansion team, Combine, I need to change the team, but to an expansion team, I'll just send to a normal team who needs depth. But I just wanted to make sure the big names went somewhere obviously real. But wasn't expecting this. The Washington Capitals, who just won the BAA title, signs George Mikan and Arnie Risen. 2 centers. They signed 3 centers, by the way. Not sure what they're doing. To be fair, you got 6'10", 6'9", and 6'5", so they can kind of play all over. But that's insane. The Washington Capitals are going to be really good. The 1947-1948 NBA season is now over, and George Mikan in his first year in the BAA, George Mikan averages 20 points per game, nearly 20 points per game, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2.4 blocks per game. Carl Braun wins Rookie of the Year, averaging 16.6 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and a steal and a half, shooting 52% from the field with the Boston Celtics. Arnie Risen wins Sixth Man of the Year, averaging 8 points and 7 rebounds with that Washington Capitals team. That is stacked right now. And then George Mikan wins Defensive Player of the Year, averaging his 20 and 12. Clutch Player of the Year is Carl Braun. And the Washington Capitals are just really, really good. There was a couple of issues with the expansion teams. This isn't going to be an issue long term, so I'm not really too worried about it. But you are going to see some expansion players on the All-NBA teams. We'll get through it. We're in literally like next season, we're going to have enough teams to fill out the whole league, so it doesn't really matter. But Carl Braun, Jim Pollard, Joe Fulks, and George Mikan round out the All-NBA first team. All-NBA second team, we got Andy Phillip. We got John Logan, Bud Palmer, Stan Mizek. And then on the third team, we've got Bellis Smalley, Bob Davies, and Leo Mogis, and Don Otten. All defensive first team, we've got Carl Braun, Jim Pollard, George Mikan. And on the second team, we got Andy Phillip, Joe Fulks, and Bud Palmer. George Mikan led the league in scoring with nearly 20 points per game. Like I said earlier in the video, we changed the shot clock. The shot clock was off originally. Now we have it, and the scoring was still like in the hundreds, which is just, it doesn't make sense. So I put it to a 35-second shot clock, and I think it's a little low. So probably, I think 30 might be the sweet spot until we put it to 24 later on. But George Mikan did lead the league in scoring. And then as far as the real, I mean, these are real players. They just ended up on expansion teams, which is really annoying. But George Mikan did lead the league in rebounds as far as players on the real teams. And then Bob Davies led the league in assists with 4.5. Like, that's crazy that the league leader in assists only averaged 4 assists per game. That's pretty crazy. Carl Braun led the league in steals, and Mikan led the league in blocks. So this is what the playoffs look like. We've got Washington as a #1 seed in the West. Once again, Chicago is a 2nd seed. We got the St. Louis Bombers as a 3 seed, and the Baltimore Bullets, the brand new expansion team. Baltimore Bullets are the 4 seed. In the East, the Boston Celtics are the 1 seed. The New York Knicks are the 2 seed. Providence is the 3 seed, and Philadelphia is the 4 seed. Moving on to the conference finals, the New York Knicks are eliminated. Remember, it's back to being a 3-game series, which is awesome. I'm glad we can change that in the middle of the seasons now. I'm curious to see what the finals will end up being. It should technically be 7 games, but we'll see. The St. Louis Bombers are eliminated. The Boston Celtics are eliminated. Wow, the 1 seed in the East loses again. The Baltimore Bullets are eliminated. So we've got the conference finals, the Washington Capitals versus the Chicago Stags, and the Providence Steamrollers versus the Philadelphia Warriors. Both 1 and 2 seeds in the East go down in round #1. That is insane. If you guys want to see what happens in the conference finals, become a member. You guys don't have to, but I thought it was, you know, it's a cool thing for members to have access to. That way we can jump in. But if you want to become a member and you want to see that and get all the other stuff, go ahead, hit that join button. It's $10 a month, and also you guys get to watch these videos a day early, which is pretty cool. We are on to the BAA Finals, where Washington beat Chicago 2-0, and Providence beats the Philadelphia Warriors 2-1. It's George Mikan in his first year in the BAA. I believe in real life he played in the NBL before he went to the BAA, which ended up obviously becoming the NBA as the BAA and the NBL combined, right? But it is George Mikan and the defending champs versus the Providence Steamrollers with the young star who's a rookie, Jim Pollard. He's an 84 overall, and he is playing really, really well. But, man, it's going to be tough to beat this Washington team. I mean, to be fair, there's only one player or two players with an overall better than 81. That's kind of crazy. George Mikan and Jim Pollard are the only two players. Scolari with an 80 is an 81. Bones McKinney is an 80. So we will see how this goes. At least that's the starting lineup. There's obviously the Capitals have the big from Toronto on the team as well. But let's get into game number one. We'll also find out if this is 3 games or 7 games. I have no idea. Washington, though, at home here against the Providence Steamrollers, and they are steamrolling over the Steamrollers. They win it 73. I'm sorry, that was stupid. 73-55. Jim Pollard with 18 and 6, but not getting any help. George Mikan with 24 and 4. Still a little banged up here. I'm not sure what his injury is, but he also had 2 blocks. Really efficient. 9 of 11 scoring. Sadowski, who's also an 81. I thought he was a little bit better than that. But Sadowski, he had 12 and 5. Norlander with 11 as the Capitals take game number 1 here. And it's 7 games. Okay, cool. As we enter game number 2 in Washington once again. The Steamrollers trying to hold on and keep this game close. They take a lead. And now it's a 3-point game with a minute 45. Let's jump in. Providence with the ball down by 3. Here's Caverly. He has it up top. Swings it to Pollard. Pollard on the right side here. 22 seconds on the shot clock. A minute and a half in the game. Pass inside to Caverly. Caverly, nowhere really to go. He's posting up a bigger player there. They're going to swing it to Hermson. Got 8 on the shot clock. Got to go. Gives it to Rosenstein. Rosenstein swings it to Pollard. Back to Rosenstein. Rosenstein with 2 on the clock. Has to put up a tough mid-range jumper. Is no good. Not a good offensive possession there for Providence. That's going to be a near turnover, but it's Risen who puts it up and in. Totally forgot Arnie Risen is on this team. A 5-point lead for Washington. Now, Providence trying to answer. It's going to be another tough shot. That's no good. George Mikan with the rebound. And with the 5-point lead with 46 seconds to go, Providence will have to start to foul here. They need some missed... Oh, Lord. They need some missed free throws, and you're going to miss a lot of free throws if you shoot it like that. Did he actually shoot this like this in real life? Because I hope not. Arnie Risen... It's the second. Shockingly, they have a 6-point lead. Providence needs to go quick here, as they will, and that's going to be a good. Shannon with the bucket, and it's back to a 4-point lead. Providence will have to foul again. They need missed free throws here, as Shannon does foul out. But can they get some missed free throws? Sheckman will hit the first. And the second is no good. Oh, George Mikan offensive board and puts it up and in. George Mikan, the MVP, playing injured, but makes a huge play there. Gives Washington a 7-point lead. The floater's up and no good. Mikan with the rebound, and that will do it. The Washington Capitals will take a 2-0 series lead here in the second ever BAA Finals. George Mikan went 16 and 7 in a game number 2, shot 6 of 8 from the field. Furyk with 12, Arnie Risen with 10 and 5. He came from the NBL as well. The Steamrollers, no one scored in double figures. Pollard had 8 points, but 3 of 8 shooting. Not a great day for him. As we move on to Providence for game number 3, can Washington take a 3-0 series lead? And it's looking like they will, as they blow out the Steamrollers again, 71-49. Pollard with 15 and 9. He's playing great, but George Mikan and Ed Sadowski is too much. 18, 10, and 3 for Mikan. Sadowski with 16 and 8. And they're the only 2 players to take 10 or more, or I guess 7 or more shots on their team. But they take a 3-0 series lead. Can the Capitals win back-to-back BAA titles without losing a single game in the finals? Game number 4, once again in Providence. They have a 3-point lead after 1, a 7-point lead at the half, but here come the Steamrollers trying to make this a game. Down to 2 minutes, it's a 10-point game, and it's not going to be enough. The Washington Capitals are going to win back-to-back. Arnie Risen with that ugly-ass free throw shot. Misses a second, but it doesn't matter. The Washington Capitals win a back-to-back BAA Finals. They win Game 4 76-61. They won it last year, sweeping the Toronto Huskies. Then in the offseason, they add George Mikan, Arnie Risen, both from the NBL, both stars from the NBL. And they add Ed Sadowski, who was on the Toronto Huskies, who they beat in the finals a year ago. So an even better team. And they are back-to-back champs. Obviously, Mikan, Sadowski, and Risen win their first. George Mikan becomes the first player in NBA history to win the regular season MVP and the NBA Finals, and I'm assuming the Finals MVP. And he does. George Mikan becomes the first player in history to win both regular season MVP and Finals MVP in the same season, and just in general. He becomes the first player. Mikan also put up 31, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, shot 9 of 11 shooting from the field. Just terrific. Started off a little slow to the playoffs, but he dominated here in the end. 22 a game, nearly 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a block and a half, nearly shooting 70% from the field. And George Mikan dominates the second year here in the BAA. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yes, we're only doing 2 seasons this year. Want to have more episodes and have a little bit more fun. So, that's how we're going to do it. A bit shorter episodes as well. But, we're changing things up for this year. But we're also having more seasons as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And I will see you guys in episode 2. Remember, become a member. Episode 2 will be out tomorrow. And you guys get to see what happens in the conference finals as we jump into those games. And you guys get the badges. And I'm working on emojis right now. There won't be any emojis in there right now. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas for emojis, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Comment below what you guys think of the series, of the membership, of everything, and how you guys think this whole re-simulation is going to go now that we can start all the way back in 1946 and expand the league and contract the league. I just think that's a lot of fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys in 1948.